In this video, we are going to discuss nomenclature of amines. So, what are the rules we have to follow? I'll discuss some examples. But even before going to IUPAC names of amines, I just wanted to discuss types of amines like primary amines, secondary amines, and tertiary amines. This type of classification is very much important. We need to compare amines classification with the classification of alcohols and classification of alkyl halides. In case of amines, we have to focus on nitrogen. If nitrogen is directly attached to one alkyl group, then it is called a primary amine. If nitrogen is attached to two alkyl groups, then it is called secondary amine. If nitrogen is attached to three alkyl groups directly, then it is called a tertiary amine. That means in case of primary amines, there will be NH2 group, secondary amines have NH group, whereas tertiary amines, there is no hydrogen on a nitrogen. So this is primary, secondary and tertiary. If you compare amines classification with alcohols and alkyl halides classification, if you see here nitrogen is attached to one alkyl group only. We should not consider this particular carbon to decide the nature of amines. We have to consider nitrogen. So this is absolutely primary amine. But in case of halogen compounds, we have to consider halogen containing carbon. This carbon is directly attached to three alkyl groups, therefore it is a tertiary alkyl halide. Even in case of alcohols, we have to consider OH containing carbon, that is alpha carbon. So this carbon is considered here, this carbon is considered here, but here nitrogen is considered but not a carbon. This is the classification. But in this video, I'm going to discuss IUPAC names of different amines like primary, secondary, and tertiary amines. During that, you can also identify whether that particular amine is a primary, secondary, or a tertiary. And of course, you already know the rules. In case of amines, the suffix is amine. So let us take the first example. First carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon. There is no prefix. So this is butane 1-amine. Basically, it is a primary amine. And this is a secondary amine. This is a secondary amine. So here, this is one alkyl group. This is another alkyl group. So obviously we need to select the longest chain. So this is having more number of carbons when compared to this. So obviously this will be the longest carbon chain. Numbering should be from left side because the functional group should receive the priority. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But most importantly, this ethyl group is not attached to carbon chain. This is attached to nitrogen. Therefore, the prefix is ethyl, but we have to write capital N. That indicates that ethyl group is attached to nitrogen. Prefix is over, root word hex, primary suffix ane, and here amine, but that is at third position. So we have to say that is 3-amine. Whether it is a primary amine or secondary amine or a tertiary amine, the suffix is the same. And if you see the next example, it is a tertiary amine. Alkyl group with one carbon, with two carbons, this is three carbons. Obviously we have to take alkyl group with more number of carbons. This is the longest chain. First carbon, second carbon, third carbon. Here we have ethyl group, here we have methyl group. They are prefixes, alphabetical order we have to use. So that is N-ethyl, N-methyl. Prefix is over, root word pro, primary suffix ane, amine is at the first position. So here this is a IUPAC name of that tertiary amine. And this is secondary amine. So here this is methyl group, 1 carbon, and here this is with the 4 carbons. So obviously this is the longest chain. Functional group carbon should get the priority. And in case of this, we have two prefixes. One is methyl, that is attached to nitrogen, chlorine, that is attached to carbon. Alphabetical order we have to take. Therefore, it is 3 chloro N methyl but ane 1 amine. So this is the correct IUPAC name of the compound. This is a tertiary amine, 1 carbon group, 1 carbon group, but here there are more number of carbons, so 5 carbons. So this is the longest chain. This is the first carbon, this is second carbon, third, fourth, and fifth. And here prefixes methyl, methyl, bromo. Alphabetical order we have to follow. Therefore, it is a 4 bromo N comma N dimethyl root word pent ane primary suffix. Functional group is at second place, 2 amine. And most importantly, this is a 2-degree amine. So this is with 3 carbons, but this is with 6 carbons. So longest chain we have to select. Therefore, this is first carbon, second carbon, because the substituent we are giving priority, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Here, one branch is attached to nitrogen, another branch is attached to carbon chain. This is ethyl, spelling begins with E, propyl, spelling begins with P. Therefore, we have to indicate E first, so that is attached to second carbon of carbon chain, 2 ethyl, N propyl, because propyl is attached to nitrogen. Don't forget, it is a cyclic compound, cyclo, root word hex, primary suffix ane, 1 amine, 1 amine. You already know in alcohols also we discussed. If you are writing 1 here, that is fine. If you are writing 1 hexenamine, in that situation E should be dropped. And the next example, so this is again a secondary amine. Here we have 2 carbon group, more than 2 carbons. So obviously this is the longest chain. Numbering must be from left side because functional group should get the least possible number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 2 branches, ethyl and methyl, only alphabetical order. Therefore, it is N-ethyl, 5-methyl, prefix is over, root word, hex, primary suffix, ane, secondary suffix, amine. So that is at the third position, 3 amine. Next, it's a simple compound. It is 1 degree amine. There are no branches also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No prefix. Therefore, it is hexane 1 amine. Next, it is a secondary amine. So here this is with 4 carbons, but this is with 3 carbons. Be very clear. This is a secondary butyl group and this is isobutyl group. If you take this alkyl group, you are going to get a 4 carbon chain. If you take this alkyl group, you are going to get a 3 carbon chain. Therefore, this is the longest chain of the compound. And here The branch attached to nitrogen is isobutyl. So that is N isobutyl, root word butane, primary suffix ane. At the second place there is amine group, 2 amine. If you want to give another name, complex alkyl group name, if you can recollect, this is 1, 2, 3. So that is, we have to say that complex alkyl group N 2-methyl propyl. 2-methyl propyl. Both are correct because isobutyl that was accepted by IUPAC. So butane 2-amine. Next one, it is 3-degree amine, methyl group, ethyl group, ethyl group. So obviously either this or this you have to take. So this is the first carbon, this is second carbon, this is a branch, this is, there are two branches, this is branch, both are attached to nitrogen, alphabetical order. Therefore n-ethyl, n-methyl, ethane, 1-amine. Otherwise, whenever there are only two carbons, obviously functional group carbon will receive the first priority. Ethanamine without a position also we can indicate because that is understood. Next one, it is 2-degree amine, 4 carbon chain, 3 carbon chain. So this is the longest chain. This is branch attached to nitrogen, n propyl butane, 1-amine. If there are more than 2 carbon atoms, it is necessary to indicate the position. If there are only 2 carbon atoms, even if you indicate, nothing is wrong in that, but that is understood. Even if you do not indicate, that is okay. Next, tertiary amine. This is the longest chain. First carbon, second carbon, third carbon. This is ethyl, this is also ethyl. Both are attached to nitrogens, N comma N, diethyl propane, 1-amine. Now it is again a secondary amine. So this is one group with the 2 carbons. This is with the 5 carbons. Obviously this is the longest chain, functional group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is ethyl, this is methyl, alphabetical order. Therefore it is n-ethyl, 3-methyl. Don't forget cyclopentane, 1-amine. So every part of the structure you are going to give the name, understand it properly. And it is 1-degree amine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go in any direction. And this is 6-methyl, prefix is over, heptane, 1-amine. It's a simple one. Cyclohexane, 1-amine, or cyclohexanamine also fine. It is 2-degree amine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the branch. There are methyl and propyl groups. We have to follow alphabetical order. So that is 4-methyl, N-propyl, pentane, 1-amine, methyl propyl. This is first carbon, second carbon, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So 2 comma 5 dimethyl Don't forget cyclic compound cyclohexane 1 amine, 1 degree amine. These are some examples of amines.